The Toronto Raptors are building something special, and I know they only won 30 games this year, but since January 13th, which was 3 months ago to this day, they have a winning record at 22-21, and that is without a single game from Brandon Ingram, who they just acquired from the Pelicans. So that's a great start, and then you start to look at this young core that is led by Scottie Barnes, and you start to think maybe the Raptors have a little something here, right? Scottie Barnes this year averaged 19 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 5.8 assists, 1.5 blocks, and 1.2 steals, which was a pretty solid season. A little bit down from last year where he was minus 1 point per game, minus half a rebound, minus half a block, and minus almost an assist per game, but still a pretty solid year. When you look at last year's numbers, he was playing more minutes, and he shot 48% from the field and 34% from 3-on-5 attempts, which is the biggest thing I'm concerned about, is the efficiency going way down. 44-27 shooting splits are not going to get it done on a winning team in the NBA. He played 33 minutes per game this year compared to 35 last year, so that can, contribute to a little bit of the fall off in production, although it was minimal, like we said. I like to see Scottie work with the ball in his hands, like out of the pick and roll right here, getting the mismatch onto Pascal Siakam and then being able to cook the slower footed Siakam, even though they're the same height. And that's a half spin fadeaway. That's a really tough shot to hit, and he gets it to go. And then he splits this screen right here with Miles Turner. Like the progression for him on reading pick and rolls, when to split, when to drag it out, when to make the reads, deceleration here in the half court. I like that a lot. I like him in transition, and then if he can develop this three-point shot, which he is currently working on, he can be really solid, and the Raptors can be really good. A lot of their success next year, however, hinges on Scottie Barnes being able to hit the three ball, because we know he can post up down low. We know he can get buckets. We know he can run the floor. Can he shoot the three ball? RJ Barrett did a pretty solid job of that this year. At 24 years old, he had one of the better three-point shooting seasons of his career, while averaging 21.1 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists, 0.8 steals in 32 minutes in his first full year in Canada. And like we said, yes, they got off to a horrific 8-31 start, but since then, they were 22-21 the rest of the way. 47% shooting from the field and 35% from three for RJ, almost primarily off the catch and shoot from beyond the arc, where he gets 4.7 of his just north of 5 attempts per game. He is a really good slasher, though. That's what he is best at. That's when he gets downhill, working out of the pick and roll, taking a guy one-on-one. He's 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he's got two-way potential still, and just being able to get downhill. He's able to finish over guys with that wingspan, that length, and just putting Pascal Siakam in the bakery right here, just going straight to work, working out of the pick and roll right here with Jakob Poeltl. And this is what I like. Once again, like Scottie Barnes, I like the progression here in the pick and roll. Reading Obi Toppin, making him play you, and then dropping it off to Jakob Poeltl at the last second for the lay-in. I love that. Now, as for Brandon Ingram, who they traded for and then immediately signed to a 3-year, $120 million extension, which I don't hate at all, he's pretty solid, right? He is an all-star caliber player. He's got an elite mid-range, and he joins this young core of Raptors players and looks to be one of the leading scorers next year. He averaged 22 points, 5.6 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and a steal in about just north of 30 minutes per game this year for the Pelicans in limited action. But still, he's 6'8" with a 7'3" wingspan, so you add another wing onto this core of RJ Barrett, Scottie Barnes, and now Brandon Ingram. And yes, it's a wings league. They make the money around here. You got to send two when this man is posted up in the mid-post area, because he's going to get a bucket. He is one of the purest mid-range scorers in the world. He's got all five guys staring at him right here, and he's still going to go downtown and get a bucket over Naz Reid. Really tough right there. 47% shooting from the field, 37% from three on 6.5 attempts. Between these three guys, at least two of them have to be three-point threats next year, because they got to be able to space the floor. And as for Brandon, you see the numbers progressing as we go along in his years. He's getting better, honestly. I think between RJ and Brandon Ingram, if RJ can shoot 36% from three next year, 37 maybe, that'd be a great year, and Brandon Ingram can shoot 38, 39, it'd be fantastic, because they're surrounded by shooters with Quickly, Grady Dick, Jamison Battle, the young Jacoby Walter. Ochai Agbaji had a big time year. And speaking of Grady Dick, he just put up 14.4 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 1 steal in 29 minutes per game. And as he proved this year, he's more than just an off-the-catch guy. He can create his own buckets off the dribble, like right here against Andre Jackson Jr., who is a fantastic defender. 41% shooting from the field, 35% from three on about 6 attempts per game this year for Grady Dick. And yes, the efficiency is bad, but he had so much more volume than he did last year in his rookie season. So I'm expecting a bounce-back year in terms of efficiency with 1 year under his belt to just let it fly, right? I mean, he's hitting jab step back threes. That's ridiculous right there. Ochai Agbaji's a guy that didn't have as much volume, but had a much better efficiency year. 10.4 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.4 assists, and a steal in 29 minutes a game, is a fantastic season for Ochai, who, not to mention the efficiency, but he's also a good defender. 50% shooting from the field and 40% from 3-on-4 attempts. The Raptors may have seriously found them a long-term wing piece to this squad, and a guy that's kind of been passed around, but I was high on Ochai whenever he was drafted. 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, so he's got all the tools to be a great defender and, knock down the three ball. So I'm really excited for Ochai in the long run. Make sure to the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. As you can see here, a large majority of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. If that's you, go ahead and fix that. Also, go ahead and check out our backyard betting channel if you do like sports betting. We're dropping picks daily. With that being said, let's get back to the video, looking at the X factor for this Raptors team, and that's going to be Immanuel Quickley, a guy that they signed to a 5-year, $132 million deal, which a little bit questionable, but they kind of needed to because he had a big year last year. This year, he goes out and kind of underperforms, 17.1 points per game, 5.8 assists, 3.5 rebounds in 28 minutes a game. A tad underwhelming, but when you go back and look at the fact that, he only played 28 minutes a game, it's not the worst thing in the world. 42% shooting from the field, 38% from three on about 6 attempts per game. So not the best efficiency, but he is a small guard, so it's not the worst thing in the world. They also got guys like Jamison Battle, who was a fantastic UDFA this year. Great shooter. I imagine he's going to be a long-term piece to this squad. Jakob Poeltl still holding it down in the paint, and then the rookie Jacoby Walter, who I really like a lot. But we're not going to talk about the Raptors anymore because now we got to talk about the draft. And the Raptors have the 7th best odds at the number 1 overall pick with a 7.5% chance. They have the best odds, believe it or not, at the 8th overall pick. Weird how the lottery works, but I've heard a lot about Kaman Malawach becoming a Toronto Raptor. 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan. Really fits that Masai Ujiri love of centers. Long, athletic, can, be a threat above the rim, but he's also starting to develop a little bit of a three-point jumper. He hit 4 this year at Duke, so he's showing a willingness to take it. Derek Queen is a little bit more skilled offensively, but not as gifted defensively when it comes to wingspan and athleticism, right? He can take you to work on the block, though. He can also play in the face-up game. Draws 2, kicks it to his buddy for the easy layup. He had a really big-time freshman season this year at Maryland, even providing a little bit of defense. Not the most vertical ups in the world or the best wingspan, so I'd take Malawach over Queen, but both are great options here in the top 10. If you wanted to go with a wing, you could add Con Canepo to Grady Dick. Are you kidding me? The best white boy shooting duo in the league, other than maybe Dalton Connect and Austin Reeves next year. That'd be a ton of fun. He is a fantastic shooter, especially off the catch, and he's also a great driver and plays so well off of 2 feet. It's just an absolute masterclass at how to play off of 2 feet and be, under control. And then if you really wanted to hit the reset button at point guard, you can go Jeremiah Fears. He's great in the pick and roll. He makes those reads with ease. However, the thing here would be, are you comfortable with putting a guy who's making like $50 million a year, $40 million a year, and quickly coming off the bench? That's the big question mark there, making $132 million over 5 years. If you draft Fears, he'd be the point guard and quickly would have to come off the bench. But we have seen he's been great in a 6-man role, so maybe they do that. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button. We're looking for 300 likes on today's video. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching.